They thought he was the new janitor, or maybe a confused grandfather looking for his granddaughter. Nobody looked at the old man in the tweed jacket walking into the lecture hall. Nobody expected him to sit in the front row. And nobody, absolutely nobody, expected him to raise his hand and answer the professor's hardest question. Meet Arthur. He is 80 years old. Most people his age are planning their retirement home, or playing bingo, or simply resting after a long life. But Arthur? He just bought a backpack. He just bought a pile of textbooks heavy enough to break a young man's back. Arthur is a freshman. But why? Why would an old man spend his final years stressing over exams and essays? The answer isn't about a degree. It isn't about a career. It's about a promise. A secret promise made 60 years ago on a rainy Tuesday beside a hospital bed. And keeping that promise might just kill him. Let's go back to 1964. Arthur was smart, brighter than anyone in his small town. He had a scholarship waiting for him. He had dreams of becoming a scientist, of understanding how the stars worked. But life doesn't always care about your dreams. His father passed away suddenly. Arthur was the oldest. He looked at his grieving mother. He looked at his 3 little sisters who needed food, clothes, and a future. So Arthur did what good men do. He folded his acceptance letter, he put it in a drawer, and he went to work at the steel mill. 1 year turned into 10. 10 turned into 40. The scientist became a factory foreman. The scholar became a provider. He put his sisters through college. He put his own children through college. He watched everyone else graduate. He cheered for them. He clapped until his hands hurt. But inside, a part of him was always standing outside the gate, looking in. Then came the day that changed everything. His mother, in her final moments, pulled him close. She whispered, "Arthur, you gave up your life for us, but promise me one thing. Don't leave this world without living for yourself. Get that degree." Arthur laughed it off. He said he was too old. But now, at 80, alone in a quiet house, the silence was too loud. He looked at the mirror. He saw an old man. But inside, the boy from 1964 was still waiting. So he enrolled. He chose the hardest major he could think of, astrophysics. He wanted to understand the universe before he left it. But bravery is one thing, reality is another. The first week was a disaster. While the other students typed 100 words per minute on their sleek laptops, Arthur was still hunting for the letter F on his keyboard. The professor spoke fast, too fast. He used words like quantum entanglement and singularity while swiping through digital slides. Arthur tried to write everything down in his notebook, but his hands just couldn't keep up. Then came the first midterm, Physics 101. Arthur studied for 3 nights straight. He drank more coffee than is safe for a man his age. He felt confident, but when he got the paper back, a big red D-. It wasn't just a bad grade, it was a humiliation. He sat on the campus bench feeling smaller than he ever had in the steel mill. He heard the whispers. Why is he here? Is he auditing the class for fun? Fun? There was nothing fun about feeling obsolete. Arthur packed his bag. He stood up. He decided right then and there. He was going to the registrar's office. He was going to quit. "Excuse me, sir, you dropped this." A young voice stopped him. It was Leo, a kid from the back of the class, the one with messy hair who always slept during lectures. He was holding Arthur's notebook, the one filled with shaky handwriting. Leo looked at the notes. "Whoa," Leo said. "You actually wrote down what Professor Miller said about the Big Bang? I totally missed that. I was, distracted." Arthur looked at the kid. "It didn't help. I failed the test." Leo shrugged. "Me too, man. I got an F. Calculus kills me." That moment changed everything. They made a deal. Leo was a wizard with computers, but he had zero discipline. He couldn't focus. Arthur? He had the discipline of a steel worker, but he couldn't grapple with the complex calculus equations. They became the oddest study group in the history of the university. They met every day at the library. Leo taught Arthur how to submit assignments online. He taught him that the cloud wasn't actually in the sky. And Arthur taught Leo that nothing worth having comes easy. When Leo wanted to give up because the math was too hard, Arthur told him about working 12-hour shifts in the heat of the furnace to buy his sister a wedding dress. He taught the boy grit. 4 years flew by. It all came down to the final thesis defense: astrophysics, the nature of black holes. Arthur had to stand in front of a panel of professors and defend his work. His hands were shaking again, not from age, but from fear. He looked into the crowd. He saw Leo. He took a deep breath, and he began to speak. He didn't just speak about formulas. He spoke about time. He spoke about how a star has to collapse under pressure before it can shine its brightest light. He compared the universe to a human life, vast, mysterious, and beautiful because it is finite. When he finished, there was silence. Arthur held his breath. Had he failed? Was he just an old man rambling? Then, one professor started clapping, then another, and finally the whole room erupted. Graduation day. When they called his name, Arthur Miller, Bachelor of Science, summa cum laude, the stadium didn't just clap, they stood up. Thousands of 20-year-olds cheering for an 84-year-old man. Leo was there, hugging him, tears streaming down his face. But Arthur wasn't looking at the crowd. He looked up at the sky. He pulled a small, worn-out photo from his pocket, a photo of his mother. He whispered, "Mom, I was a little late, but I kept my promise." People tell you that you have an expiration date. They tell you that at 40, you're stable, at 50, you're settling, and at 80, you're done. Arthur proved them wrong. You are never too old to set a new goal. You are never too old to dream a new dream, and you are definitely never too old to learn something new. Maybe you want to learn piano. Maybe you want to start a business. Or maybe you just want to finish that book. Do it. Start today, because the only time it's truly too late is when you stop breathing. If Arthur's story inspired you, please like this video and share it with someone who needs a push. And tell me in the comments, what is your unfulfilled dream? I read every story. Thanks for watching.